everybody. I am so excited that I get to see you. Hi, welcome to day 2 of the Money Movement Live. What's up? What's up? This is Allyson Byrd, Profit Accelerator and founder of Money Movement Live. I got to tell you, how dare I rival Kerry Washington and Scandal? I mean, guys, I am calling on you and your real gladiator mentality to turn those DVRs on and get excited and know that it's not an either or world. It's not either me or Kerry. It's a both and. And if we look at life that way, we'll have so many breakthroughs. If you record Kerry, watch me live, when you're done, I want you to spend at least 30 to 45 minutes after staying in the group, getting your next 2 actions. I want you basking in the afterglow of the money movement. And then I want you watching Kerry tonight, tomorrow, this weekend. Get your popcorn, your red wine, all that good stuff. But man, I got to tell you, I'm a pretty big, bold badass to come up against Kerry Washington, and I'm unapologetic about it. You got to know that. All right, let's start out with our shout outs. So I want to share with you, here's our agenda for today. Let's throw that up on the screen so that they can see that. If you want to know what tonight is going to look like, we're going to do our shout outs. I'm going to go over what to expect after that. I'm going to do some phenomenal sales training for you. I'm going to talk more about an enrollment that I have for a brand new opportunity to work one-on-one with me. And then I'm going to share with you what I call Take Your Glory and Run. That's going to be our finale. I want you to know that you've got to be in the know. So you should be right now in the exclusive Money Mover Facebook community. And so in that group, if you're not a part of it, right now below you, it says join the Facebook group. If you've already joined the group, I want you to join your community. On the top right hand, go to the top right hand. You're going to see you can share on Facebook. You're going to see you can share on Twitter, on LinkedIn. So I want to make sure people know the official event hashtag is what? Hashtag Money Mover. So right now I want you to post, I am a money mover, and insert your Facebook like page. I've already got tons of you doing it. We started our flash mob, so let me go through and see who is on with us. Sherry Riley, welcome. Sherry is amazing. For those of you who have ever heard of Usher, ever heard of TLC, ever heard of Outkast? Well, guess who was all a part of breaking their careers? That would be Sherry Riley. And now she is an international speaker, certified personal development leadership coach, one of the founding coaches for the John Maxwell Group, and she happens to be one of my personal one-on-one clients. I love you, Sherry. I'm so glad you're on. You're incredible. Mathina James, Brightful, Heal a Woman, Heal a Nation. Personal client, great friend, love working with you. LaTanya Washington, Southern California. Let's see, special events management, welcome. What's up, Pruitt twins? I love seeing you guys. I can't wait to meet you face to face. Nancy Deed is on. She says it is time for the Thursday night main event. Well, I do think it's pretty fancy now. All right, let's see. Joan. Hey, Joan. I'm so glad you're on. Joan is known as the Corner Woman. And if you don't know who Joan Thompson Wilson is, then you need to know now. Audria Richmond, what's up? You and Calvin are on, about to move and shake with the Money Movers all the way, or Money Movers all the way from Memphis, Tennessee. I think I put all those words together. Memphis, Tennessee, and money. It was like a concentration situation. Sorry, I'm looking at my team over here, you guys. All right, let's see. They're pointing at me, telling me to look at you. Toy, I'm glad you're on. Toy is on. Carmen Saunders. Famira, what's up? So we ran a contest before we started, you guys. Famira was so passionate about getting people inside of this money movement. We ran this contest, and one of the people that she connected to and connected to the money movement won, but they gave her the opportunity to work with me one-on-one. My social media team is doing some exclusive badges for her. She's getting a book out of my own private personal library. I tell you, when you're in the Money Movers community, you never know what I'm going to do, when I'm going to do it, and how I'm going to do it. And Famira, I can't wait for you and I to get together. All I'm going to tell you, girlfriend, roll your sleeves up. Bring some room temperature water because it's going to get pretty spicy. All right. Jennifer Tooley, I love that Trevor and Shay connected us. If you guys don't know, Trevor and Shay, you got to get connected to them. They're in the group right now. They have so many trainings that if you are into sales and marketing, you want to make more money, you want to get seen, you want to get heard, you want to leverage that so you can get paid, I'm telling you, you got to be connected with them. They make a difference. And Jennifer, We got connected through them, and I'm so honored that you and I get to play together. Nicole Lundy, what's up, Nicole? She is phenomenal at helping people build a great brand strategy. Branding is not about looking pretty. It's not just about your business card and your website. I tell people, if that's what you're worrying about, I can guarantee you broke and ain't making no money. When you really about making money and branding, you're talking about how can I make an impact in society and get people to look at me. Listen, every single market we're in is oversaturated. When I worked for Hoover, we were trying to get people to stop looking at Dyson and start looking at us, to stop buying the cheap Dirt Devil and start buying the quality product with us. Every market is oversaturated. If we're fighting in vacuums, you think you're not fighting in your industry, you got to get someone in your corner who's going to teach you how to leverage that space. Yes and yes. Judy Mason, welcome on. Glad you're here. Sequoia, Sarita, let's see, Camille, Tanika. What's up, Tanika? I'm so excited to welcome you into Money Mover Pro. So excited to work with you and connect with you. You have an amazing mission and calling in the world, and I find it a joy that you've trusted me to be your coach, to lead you, to guide you in this season of your life, and I'm so glad you're on here. Those of you wanting to get connected, she's posted up in there, Understandology. Let's see, Shamika Murphy, whoop, whoop. So Shamika is what we call a parallelpreneur. How many of you are working a 9-to-5 in your job? I call it the investor, because that's the thing that's going to help you build your dream and move your dream forward. Listen, you can't build a dream when your lights are off. So for those of you that are saying, man, I wish I would just get fired, I wish I would just get laid off, let me tell you, if I had it to do all over again, I would have had a 36-month strategy leaving BlackBerry. I would have had a coach every step of the way. I would have been a part of a mastermind. I would have been traveling, gaining all the knowledge, putting everything I could in the bank to ensure that I could grow and accelerate from the time I got out the gate. I got to tell you, I worked way too hard to prove that God was faithful. I worked way too hard. Building a business with a negative bank account, building a business feeling fraudulent, building a business on food stamps. It sounds good on the other side, and it sounds like, man, Allyson, you really persevered. And here's the reality. I did. I rose above the impossible. I found out that my spirit was unbreakable. I found tenacity and persistence in ways that I never could have imagined. And I bet you I could have found that lesson a whole other way. Just saying. All right. So Shamika, welcome on. Glad that you're here. Let's see. Udeline is here. Precious is here. Nick, welcome. Scarlett, if you want to know how to look the part, all of us are out there in the camera, somehow in front. You don't know how many people I meet, and they are so brilliant and so talented, but because they don't look the part, nobody will hand them the opportunity. I want to tell you, Scarlett is one of the best image and style consultants that's out there. We've got several of you that are in this group. We've got Michelette, we've got Brandy Mitchell, several. So if you haven't connected with one of them, you need to interview them all. Find out who's the right person and who's the right fit for you. Being a money mover means putting yourself out there. So let me just tell you, you got to look good. If I got on here and all I had on was my joggers and my flip-flops, and let me tell you today, that's really what I was wearing all day. I had on my Ugg boots, and I had on my joggers, I had on my scarf, and I had on a too big sweater. So don't y'all love the way I threw in that it was too big? Okay, yeah. One of those things, skinny girl problems. Yes, I'm naming myself that. All right. Tiffany, welcome on. Glad you're here. Marilyn, Miss Jennifer, Brenda, Monica Beasley, welcome on. Each and every one of you, put your shout outs in there. If you want me talking about you, you want me saying something good to you. Hey, everybody, money movers. Let's see, Andronette, I see you adding people in there. Andronette, Mary Kay. I got to give a shout out to those of you that are in the network marketing, multi-level marketing, relationship marketing, direct sales industry, from Mary Kay to USANA to Advocare to It Works Wraps. So many of you are on Artists International, Body Magic. You guys are phenomenal. It takes a lot of work to make a network marketing business do something powerful for you. When I started my company, I told you guys I didn't have any money, didn't have any education. I needed a place to go and level the playing field. What did I do? I got into a network marketing organization, made my first $50,000, accelerated phenomenally, took that $50,000, poured it into my business. No one was going to be my investor but me. I didn't have any other opportunity but the opportunities that I created. So those of you that are in network marketing, MLM, direct sales, relationship marketing, I celebrate you, I applaud you, and I know that people look at you and go, I don't want to do that, it's hard. You get more no's than you do yeses. But if you have the spirit of Tigger, and you get a bounce back like nobody's business, I promise you that in a sea of 99 no's, when you get that one yes is going to make a difference for you as a partner in your product sales. When you get the yes that is just right for you, and then guess what you get to do? Press reset all over again. I know it's not easy. I know it's challenging, and I know it hits your gut often, but here's the reality. If you want to have something different, you got to do something you've never done before. All of you, whatever kind of business you're in. So I want to celebrate each and every one of you, but I had to give a shout out to my network marketers out there because, man, y'all get it a little hard sometimes. So I celebrate you. I'm excited for what you're up for. Okay, so someone says, Marsha's saying she's having trouble getting on. Somebody help Marsha, because we love Marsha out of Dallas. Somebody make sure that Marsha can get on. Dominique says, I'm a money mover. Brandy, hey Brandy Butler, so excited that you're on. For those of you that haven't leveraged the power of a podcast, if you're not on iTunes, you're not repurposing your blog content, your messaging, if you need to know how to do that, Brandy is a genius. She's on my personal team. I endorse her fully. She's amazing. She's a woman of power, a woman of faith, but guess what? She's a woman of fulfillment, follow through, execution, implementation, timelines, measurable results, data that you need. If you want to make a difference on iTunes, one of the greatest platforms for speakers, authors, coaches, health coaches, if you're leveraging, if you have information to give out at all, you need to be connected to her. Carmen White Yannick, in the business of helping busy working women restore their spiritual essence, revive their creative genius, and stand powerfully in their greatness. I am a money mover. Carmen is not only all of those things, she is my absolute favorite cousin. She is the minister and the spiritual guide for my company and has been since we started. She's amazing, and I got to tell you, if you're looking for restoration, don't leave yourself behind. In business, we can put success ahead of ourselves, and we create what we call a Pyrrhic victory. So those of you, if you've never looked up Pyrrhic, it's Pyrrhic, Pyrhic, something like that, something, creative, but a Pyrrhic victory, I think it's PYH. I'm going to stop trying to spell it. But anyway, look up Pyrrhic victory. General Pyrrhus was committed to win a war. And he was so committed to win the war that when he turned around and looked, he'd won the war, but his family was gone. His friends were gone. His entire city was demolished. And here's what General Pyrrhus said. Had I known that the win would cost me all of that, I never would have wanted that win. Some of you are looking for a win and you haven't looked at what it cost you. Your life is giving you signs that it's costing you too much. You're having what we call in finance a diminishing rate of return, which means you're getting a return on the investment, but it actually starts to cost you so much more to do what you're doing, costing you in your relationships, your health, your fitness, your spirituality. It's costing you so much that it's really not adding value. Yes and yes. So if that's you, if you need that breakthrough, find an opportunity, find someone to connect to so that you can fill your cup. Give out of your overflow. Give out of your overflow. Nobody wants to give bone dry, right? All right, good. So glad we had our shout out time. What? Let's jump straight into the curriculum, you guys. I have so much that I'm ready to give you. There is a freebie tool that I am going to give away throughout the training. So I just want you guys to get ready. Stay connected. I want you to post right now in the group. Let's show them the slide so they know what I want them to post. Tonight I'm playing full out, #moneymover. Tonight I'm playing full out. I'm going to keep you affirming. I'm going to keep you on your keyboard. So listen, if you're not ergonomically correct right now, sit up. Put a footrest under you, do whatever it takes, but I want to make sure that you stay connected. I want you engaged. I want you and me together. I want to feel like you're here in the studio with me. I want to see your posts. I want to see your breakthroughs. I want to feel your energy. Do you know how much I've had to rise up in my own life in order to be a teacher that had any kind of power? So when I come to you, I got to know I'm making a difference. I got to know that the things that I gave up, the lessons that I fought through, I got to know it was worth it. I got to be reminded. And you're the one who reminds me of that. So that's why I love keeping you in the move. I love keeping you in the grind. I love seeing your hustle muscle in that group. So tonight I'm playing full out, #MoneyMover. If you haven't downloaded your online workbook, maybe you weren't on session 1, I want you to download your online workbook. It is right there on expectmore14.com, downloaded right underneath me. So scroll up your screen. For those of you that are on your Apple, your Android, whatever device you're on, if you can't download it now, download it later. Has some great information, great journaling opportunity for you to write your breakthroughs and to create a plan. Here's what I say all the time. If you cannot measure it, it never happened. And most things that we don't write are not measurable. So most of the time, we can't really track or trend, did it really happen? So I want to see you writing, engaging, connecting, feeling, typing. I want all of that kinetic energy flowing through to you. I got to tell you, some of you came to me half full right now. Some of you came to me bone dry. Some of you came to the brim, but you're full of what's no longer serving you. I'm going to spend some time excavating that with you tonight. It's a big deal what we're talking about. Put your Nikes on. Put your seatbelt on. We're going to run. Then we're going to get on the roller coaster. We're going to do a whole lot. So get ready because we got a lot to make happen. So now let's go ahead and go to the next one. I want them to see this full through. Post now. The breakthrough I need the most is. What's the breakthrough that you need the most? We were together last night. Right? You named a breakthrough. Now we're together today. What's the breakthrough that you need? I want you to name it because here's what I know. If you name it, you'll look for it. If you name it, you'll listen for it. If you name it, you'll know when I give it to you. But if you come and you sit back and go, wow, Allison's just dynamic, I'm going to just sit back and let her give me, then you'll leave being inspired, but you won't know what to do with what's on the inside of you. You'll leave motivated, so you'll have a lot of energy, but you won't know what your next action and your next step is. I want you to be inspired. I want you to be motivated. And more than anything, I want you to take action as a result of that. So what's the breakthrough that you need? I want to see you name it. Let me jump in so that I can see what you guys are saying in the group as far as the breakthrough that you're looking for. It's live. Refresh your screen. I see my team in there giving everybody instructions. Let's see. Elisa says, the energy here is off the hook. Yes, yes, and yes. People are so excited about tonight. Chiesda, Sarita, Marsha, looks like you got on and you are playing full out with us. Man, you guys are feeling good. I am so excited. Playing full out. Andrea, Shamika says, get ready, get ready, get ready. Seatbelts buckled and Nikes are laced up. The breakthrough I need the most is, PC says confidence. The breakthrough that I need the most is. Jennifer says, I'm inspired by your necklace. Well, thank you very much. So the breakthrough I need the most is, let's talk about that. I love that confidence is showing up in there. The breakthrough I need the most is the plan to make my dream happen. The breakthrough I need the most is strategy. Let me answer this, Latasha. The breakthrough I need the most is a plan to make my dream happen. That's a big statement. And most of the time when we make big statements like that, most of the time we're not used to bite-sizing our way to success. Let me tell you, if I said I was really, really, really hungry and someone said, Allison, do you want this rotisserie chicken? Well, then I would look at that whole chicken and say yes. Now, would I pick up that chicken and would I just start eating it from the top down? Or would I break off a leg or a wing or slice away a breast or a piece of the thigh? In order for you to be able to ingest or take in anything, you've got to put it into bite-sized, palatable, digestible pieces so that you can actually make a difference for yourself. If you're having an issue making your dreams happen, it's not that your dream is too big. Because a dream, I love what Trevor says. He says this to me all the time. He says, Allison, a dream is only a delayed reality. That's what a dream is. So when you look at it, how can you take the reality that you desire and put it in a step-by-step plan? Let me give you an example. If, when I decided that I wanted to release weight off of my body, there were a series of things that I needed to do. I couldn't just overnight release 85 pounds off of my body. I had to make some clear decisions. So I had to decide to eat better. I had to decide to drink more water. I had to decide what supplements I was going to choose. Of those three, what is the number one thing you need to do tomorrow? So look at those three, and then tomorrow, I want you beginning to change that reality. Like, why delay? Why wait? How many of you right now needed to hear bite-sized, digestible, gear by gear? I say that in a lot of my messages to you all. Let's go gear by gear. Some of you emailed me last night, Allyson, I want to go full throttle. I want to make $100,000 in my business. Then I emailed you back and said, okay, how much have you made in the last year? $3,000. Okay, well, let's just try for 10 first. And then let's see where we go from there. Some of you got that email from me. Some of you came in, hey, Allyson, I want to do this. I want to add in a new revenue line. And I think I can make another $500,000. And then I said, how much time do you have to make that work? How much staff do you have in place in order to do that? Some of you got those messages from me this morning. Why? Because we've got to go gear by gear to build a bridge from where you are to where you want to be. You got to not only build the bridge, but then you got to get the courage to walk over it. Make sense? All right. Thanks, Latasha, for letting us all be a student for that. All right. So let's jump in. I'm excited to share this with you. Your stories yesterday inspired me. And some of the stories that came through, some of the breakthroughs that you all were having made me really wake up to what was happening for you as the session went on. And I know I came ready for you, and obviously you guys came ready for me. So let's show this one. Val Neighbors. Val Neighbors is the $1 million sales expert, TV host, and speaker. And Val says during last night's training, I realized that I've left a minimum of $76,000 on the table in revenue. Let's keep this slide up. Val says, during last night's training, I realized I've left a minimum of $76,000 on the table in revenue. She then said, Allyson, I can't even count the revenue from products I haven't sold. Then she said to me, this was just from last night. Val and I had this conversation earlier today. Val said, plus I realized I don't have a plan for selling a major product in the market that I know will rock the world and make a big difference. So I did the math for you, Val, and I looked at it for you. Here's what the numbers look like. Val says $76,000 is her number of what she left on the table. Well, we estimate another $25,000 per quarter, Val, for your product that you haven't yet sold. And I further estimated that on that big idea that you have, because I know the big idea, and of course I'm not going to disclose it, but the big idea that you have, I estimate that you have another $125,000 annually that you, not positioning, had the opportunity to make and earn in your business. Now, let's look at the potential lost revenue. $76,000 was your number. I added $25,000 per quarter, which would have been another $100,000 this year. And then another $125,000 in your big idea totals $211,000 in potential lost revenue. Now, what could we have done with $211,000? We could have A, bought 2.5 2015 Cadillac Escalades. We could have B, purchased 296 pair of designer Christian Louboutin shoes. With $211,000, we could have sent 23 children to state colleges. For $211,000, we could have built 2 struggling families a new starter home. Let's look at what else we could have done. According to feedamerica.org, $1 equals 10 meals for people facing hunger. If, Val, you would have only made half of the money that we say you potentially lost in revenue and donated just 10% of the half of it, you could have fed 211,000 hungry people in the United States. So the question is, this is the big question, you guys. How much is not making money costing you? Is that a big revelation for you? I mean, look at these numbers. The bigger question is, how much is not making money costing our world? I mean, we got to really think about our assignment here. Because do you think that you still think that you don't matter? Do you still feel your mission and your cause, your purpose in life? Do you still feel like that can wait? I mean, listen, Val's not alone here. Let's get clear. I did the numbers because I want you to see when you wait and when you delay what potentially could have occurred as a result of the revenue that you could potentially have earned had you decided to step out on the skinny branch to create success that look like you, talk like you, walk like your next level. But for whatever reason, you're sitting back waiting for that next level to rise. Can you really just read another book or watch another YouTube video and just hope you get it? Can you really do that? Here's what I want you to look at, you guys. Let's just imagine this. I want you to just think about this with me for a moment. I want you to take away your family needs, and let's imagine that every need that your family has is taken care of. Okay? Let's imagine that every one of your personal needs is taken care of. So your family, everywhere that they may have need or opportunity, struggle or sacrifice currently, all taken care of. Time issue, taken care of. Money issue, taken care of. Let's imagine that your personal needs taken care of. Let's imagine that your private dreams fulfilled. Dream number 1, pop. Dream number 2, pop. Dream number 3, pop. Done. And let's imagine that all of your necessary desires fulfilled. Let's imagine that. If all of that is taken care of, it gives us the opportunity now to look even greater at what's our big why. Because our big why has to be connected and tied to a worldview. Now that worldview can start in your local community, your city, your state, your region. It can explode out from there to national, to international. But the reason that I want you to really think about this is because when I set out this Money Mover campaign, it was about people who say, it's bigger than a paycheck. See, what I know for sure is what Maya Angelou said, is that when you do good, you live well. I know it's a byproduct. But some of us are so hungry for the number, not creating it. We're just hungry for it. We just pant for it. You know, my dogs, when I take them out for a walk, they just, and they'll take water from anywhere. They don't care if the water's clean. They don't care if the water is dirty. My doggy daughter got a little upset stomach, and the first thing that the vet asked me was, did she drink dirty water? Big lesson. Many times in my dreaming space, in my panting space, so hungry, so thirsty for that next level. I'm on the come up, I'm on the rise, I'm on team no days off. I drank dirty water. Let me tell you what that looks like. Aligning with partners who don't have your core values. It looks like chasing money versus creating opportunity for money to be attracted to you and flow to you and come to you. See, some of you want to name it, oh, I'm in my hustle, Allyson. But listen, I don't think it's sexy when you create what I call ghetto rich. That's not hot. Ghetto rich looks like you got money today, but 2 days later, I'm like, let's go out to eat, and you say, oh, I got to wait for a check to come in. That's called ghetto rich. Ghetto rich means your P&L, your profit and loss statement, you see loss and loss and loss and loss. And then all of a sudden there's a spike in profit, and then all of a sudden you're back to loss and loss and loss. Ghetto rich looks like you can't keep the staff that you need to grow the vision, to make the difference, to do what you were called and caused to do in the world. When you are ghetto rich, who suffers from that? You're exhausted in your business model. You're exhausted at what you're doing. When you're ghetto rich, you work in a 9 to 5 with no excess for anything. You can pay your bills. You're stuck in the 3 C's, the cubicle, the check, the cup of coffee. I have nothing. I don't think there's anything wrong with having a job. I thought having a job was wonderful. I loved every time I had one. I loved it. And I love when my clients hire me for projects that we call jobs. We give them a job number. I don't mind that. But what I do mind is when you don't have what you need to make a difference and an impact, to be purposeful, to be intentional beyond the four walls of your home, beyond the corners of your mind. When you stop faithing and trusting yourself because you don't have what you need to make a difference. When you say, man, if only I could, I would. I would. Man, you know, if I had it, I would have you, brother. You know I would. You know, if I had it, I would do you a solid. That's what they used to say when I was growing up at the ice house. I would do you a solid. You know I would. Man, let me hold that money. Okay, y'all got me going to the ice house. But you know what I'm saying. When you're ghetto rich, and here's the thing that I want to help you with. I want to help you with who you are on stage, on the platform of Facebook, on the platform of Twitter, on the platform of your phone calls, your team meetings. Come on, some of you, you hit ranks in your multi-level marketing and you got the rank and you got the title, but you don't got the bank account to match it. And now you feel fraudulent and frustrated and overwhelmed and don't know what to do, and you're trying to look the part to keep the role and fake the funk, and you think, well, I'll just fake it till I make it, and before you know it, 6 weeks turns into 6 months, and 6 months turns into 6 years, and you wonder, why don't I feel fulfilled? And you're like my little doggy daughter, and you're panting, and you're panting, and you drink dirty water because it solves for the problem. And you miss your opportunity to really soar in success on your terms, on demand, the way you want it, the way it was promised. Wayne Dyer says it this way: abundance is not only our birthright, it's our responsibility. I want you stepping into the flow of abundance. Today, I'm going to give you some skill set, but man, I'm going to hit you upside the head on your inner game. I'm going to talk to your heart tonight, because some of you, men and women alike, your hearts are aching. You have a vision sitting in the seat of your soul and the lining of your stomach that keeps you up at night. And if you're not awake at night, you're sitting in the bank line wondering, when will that day happen? When will something change for me? You're sitting right now with Allyson, I know your story. I heard your story on the session 1. And I'm just wondering when what happened for you can happen for me. Well, it's when I began to build the bridge, layer by layer, and brick by brick, and piece by piece. And then I dared greatly, courageously to walk across it. That's when things began to change. Listen, my overnight success story, I guarantee you, I dropped out of high school at 15 years old. I'm 37 years old today. You think it's been an overnight success? Last time I saw my father, I was 4 years old. You think it's been an overnight success? Business failed, partners left, relationships crumbled. You think it's been an overnight success? Clients' checks bounced, credit cards declining. You think it's been an overnight success? Deals we signed. Attorney said, I read it, but I don't know how that changed, and I don't know why this is different, and well, can we get our money? No, we can't. Well, what do we do about that? You think it's been an overnight success? Opportunities promised, and then opportunities disappearing. Conversations had, handshakes made, and then it goes away. You think it's been an overnight success? You think that this pain, this perseverance, this pressing that you're in right now is brand new, and you think that you're alone. Well, I came to encourage you tonight. It's not brand new. It's not new under the sun. Happens to all of us. And in spite of it, you can rise. In spite of it, you can rise. In spite of it, you can rise. See, failure is feedback. Simon Bailey told me, I called him. Simon Bailey, some of you know him. He's going to be teaching in our Money Mover 20, an incredible mentor for me. He wrote best-selling book, Shift Your Brilliance, was a senior vice president for Walt Disney, just came out with a new book, Shift Your Brilliance. And I called Simon and I said, Simon, I just don't know what to do. Business is falling apart. Money is falling out. This is happening. Clients are leaving, and I'm in tears. And I said, Simon, I don't want to call you be emotional because I don't want you to stop mentoring me because I'm a girl and I'm crying and you're going to think I'm too girly to keep me as a mentee. I just don't know what to do, and I really think you need to come down here. When are you coming to Texas? And I was that dramatic. And Simon says to me, well, Allyson, first, I'll be in Texas in a few weeks. How long do you need to meet? And that's how Simon is. You'll hear him. Very calm. How long do you need to meet? I said, I think I just need to meet for 2 hours. And he says, okay, so I'm going to give you 6. And I said, okay. And he said, and secondly, it sounds like you're failing. I said, I am. Do I just need to go get a job, Simon? What do I need to do? And he says, well, you're looking at failure as though it's bad. I remember the conversation like it was yesterday. And the conversation was about 8 years ago, 7 years ago. And he says, you're looking at failure like it's bad. And he said, but failure isn't final. It's feedback. So if you look at every area where you failed, Allyson, it's giving you feedback on how to grow, how to strengthen, how to become, how to rise, where you need a system, where you need automation, where you need to hire new staff, where you need to be strategic, where you need to plan, where you need to test. It's giving you feedback, Allyson. And you're looking at it like it's the last move you'll ever make. But when was the last time you failed before this time? I said, I don't know. He said, well, think about it. And I said, well, I think I failed. And I thought about it, and I pulled up the time that I had failed. And he said, well, what happened? And I said, well, we fixed this and we did this. And he said, you learned, didn't you? And I said, yeah. He said, you created a plan. I said, yeah. Created a system, yeah. You moved forward, yes. Did you die? I said, no, I didn't die. Did you feel like you were going to die? Yes. He said, well, guess what? You feel it again, and you can go forward again. So I'm saying to you, this isn't for everybody, and I didn't even plan to say this. So I know it's for someone. So I'm saying to you, you're feeling the pressure of failure. I get it. I get it. You're feeling the pressure of failure, and you will rise. So I want you right now inside of the group. I want everybody owning this, because if it's not for you, it's for your sister in the group, it's for your brother in the group. So I want you to type failure is feedback. Hashtag what? Money mover. Because as money movers, what we get is we don't die. We rise. When failure comes, hits us on the back of the head, what do? We rise. Failure comes, hits us this way. What do? We rise. Failure comes, it's going to slap you this way too, and what are you going to do? You rise. Failure is going to come and stand on your shoulders, kick you in the back of your knees, and still I want you to rise. I want you typing right now, failure is feedback, hashtag money mover, because I want you feeling the inspiration that if you're failing, it's a good thing. If you're failing, it means you're going in a good direction, and it's going to tell you how to course correct, how to navigate, how to do something different so you can become someone better that you've dreamed about, wanted to be, create for the world. That's the distinction. Failure is your teacher. Failure is not your final landing place. Yes and yes? All right, so here's what I want you to do. We're going to go through a series of things here. Let's show this. Let's go full screen on these because this is going to be imperative. I want you to think about this. When you think about being a money mover, there are certain things that are required of you. Stay here on these slides for me. Certain things that are required of you. The first thing is something is waiting on you, and I want you to use, I particularly put the word must here. I must be a money mover because what is waiting on me? So I want you thinking beyond your family. Remember, your family's taken care of. I want you thinking beyond your car, beyond the dream, beyond the personal dream. I want you to think about the world view. Who's waiting on you? I must I must become a money mover. I must be a money mover because what is waiting on me? I want you to identify that. Let's look at the next one. I must be a money mover because what is demanding that I rise? What is that example? See, I knew my courage was demanding that I rise. My joy was demanding that I rise. My abundance was demanding that I rise. There were some demands that I rise. The legacy of my family was demanding that I rise. What's demanding that you rise? All right? I must be a money mover because who's watching you? I want you to think about this. I know my nieces, my nephews, they watch me. They watch me. They want to know. What is Nee doing? My nieces and nephews call me Nee, short for Annie. Y'all got to remember I'm from the South. So they call me Annie or Nee, and they say, what's she doing? My godson watches me. Who's watching you? The people at my church and in my community, they look at me and they borrow from my faith. You are watching me. Some of you have been watching me since before I knew I was being watched. Some of you have been with me since MySpace days, since before MySpace. Since when we just had pagers, you've been watching me and I've been watching you. There's so many people that I watch to find my own courage, to find my own power. So I want to ask you, I must be a money mover because who's watching you? My mother watches me and she relives her dreams because she sees I'm reliving mine. I'm doing mine. I let them go, then I get them back. My mother's watching me. So who's watching you? So I must be a money mover because who is watching you? Let me take a look at what you guys are saying because I really want to see this. I think this is profound here. I must be a money mover because Roderick, Brianna, Aiden, Mariah, my community, and so many more are watching me, Cosette says. Mathina says, I must be a money mover because, oh, you didn't put who was watching you yet. Demita Joe, I want to see who's watching you. Yolanda says, I must be a money mover because solopreneurs, art education, artist tribe is waiting for me to manifest the dreams all hold to our heart. I want to know who's watching you. Let's see. How do I say your name? Is it Naziah? Naziah says, I absolutely must be a money mover because my son is watching me. Latar, let's go full screen on this because I want to see this hashtag up. I must be a money mover because the homeless women transitioning to better are waiting on me. I must be a money mover. Just this slide. This slide is the one I want them to see. I must be a money mover because my dream is demanding and pushing me to rise. Audrea says, I must be a money mover because my family is watching me. Darren says, I must be a money mover because there's a remnant and a generation of men that are waiting on me. Odyssey says, I must be a money mover because there are young teen mothers that are waiting on me. Let's see. Oh, I love this. This is amazing. Let's see. It's a bigger, okay, let me go back up. Let me see who else is talking to me. Let me go back up here. Nisha says, I must be a money mover because foster kids, my kids, and today's youth are watching me. Ava Laura, welcome in. You are a part of Money Mover 20 and just signed up last night to do one-on-one work with me. So excited to be able to support you out of the DMV area. I must be a money mover because God is watching me. Is it Naomi? Let's see if I'm saying that correctly. Says, I must be a money mover because because I am demanding myself to rise. Our Ari says, I must be a money mover because women who are suffering are waiting for me. Marcia says, I must be a money mover because my family and people who are expecting me to fail are watching me. Raquel says, I must be a money mover. Raquel in the Money Mover Pro group, welcome. Raquel says, I must be a money mover because my daughters and grandsons are watching me. Minister Ginger London says, I must be a money mover because my calling is demanding that I rise. Missy, hey Missy, part of Money Mover, let's see, Money Mover 20. working with me one-on-one. I love you, Missy, so much. I must be a money mover because my high-achieving women are watching me and they are hurting too. Nancy Deed says, I must be a money mover because my clients and my husband is watching me. Yes. Tony says, I must be a money mover because my life demands that I rise. Daphne says, I must be a money mover because my kids are watching me and need to see my success. Val says, I must be a money mover because millions need my show and my guests to show them the way of getting over shame and fear and talk about the things that make people uncomfortable. Dawn Ori from San Diego, California says, I must be a money mover because people who need to have their lives clear and planned out are waiting to have clarity. I must be a money mover because my life, my legacy, my joy demands that I rise. I must be a money mover because my son, my goddaughter, my nieces, my sisters, my parents, my clients are watching me. I must be a money mover. Wow, you guys are powerful. You are powerful. You are powerful. So what's stopping you then? If we really look at these dreams and we really look at what's possible, what stops us? I have one of the best COOs on the planet, Melissa Hughes. She cracks me up and she says to me all the time when I say, well, I have a vision for the company. And Melissa says, well, if you have that vision today, what's stopping us from making it happen now? And I say, well, because I think it needs to be a couple of years from now. And she says, really, based on what data? And so what I realized is I was always trying to push things off into the future because I thought it made sense. If I wanted to hire someone, oh, I'll hire them in a couple of weeks. I'll think about it. Why? If you need them today, what's going to be the difference except for delayed results? What's stopping you? Let's show this on the full screen so they can see this. Here are the things that stop a lot of you, and you posted this. I took these straight out of Facebook last night on what was stopping you. Here's what you guys communicated. You said self-limiting thoughts are stopping you. Personal fears, past failures are stopping you. Let's see. You said personal circumstances, no community or the wrong community, feeling like you're doing it alone. Some of you said what's holding you back is you're waiting on God, but I tend to think that God just might be waiting on you, baby. Some of you said, I think there's still time, so it slows me down. I question my ability. Here's a good one. Y'all didn't say it, but I kind of sniffed it out here. Cynical, jealousy, or at the success of others is stopping you. I got to tell you, jealousy and envy are the two greatest challenges that most people won't ever name that they have. But it is the reality that will sabotage your personal success, your ability to advance and to keep consistent flow and growth. It makes a difference. Some of you said your private thoughts and your private doubts. Will I really do it? Will I really do it? Well, let me show you this. Val is not alone. Beth, you said this. Last night, in spite of the things that have held you back in the past, you discovered the 2 golden rules for business success. First, do the math. Second, ask for the sale. If I want business to be successful, I need to get serious about the business of business. You've discovered you are unstoppable as a money mover. Val's not alone because Darren said, I must decree and declare that my ideas translate into wealth and that I will be a mover and shaker in the global economy that will bring a positive and purposeful change into the world. Susan Say said, I discovered that I've been irresponsible to speak and not have anything for people to take to their next step. Whoa. I never saw it as irresponsible, and I want to lead people well. So I need to create that next step. Thank you, Allison. I said, ouch, and I said thank you to that one. Tanika Steed says, I'm still peeing. Tanika, you were so funny. You kept peeing in that Facebook group saying you were so scared. Calvin said, some of us will not get any sleep tonight because of Allyson Byrd. Some of you said, I've worked with Allyson. Oh, Scarlett, you said this. I worked with Allyson privately, and I'm no longer nodding in agreement with potential clients. I asked them to work with me now, and yes, I have many more clients. Jeff said, I discovered that the difference between being a CEO and a COE, and I said something last night. This is a Trevorism where he talks about being in the picture frame, so you can't see the big picture because you're inside of the frame and you miss the opportunity to go big. So let's look at this. What's holding you back? I'm showing you again for a reason. Self-limiting thoughts, personal fears. I'm waiting on God, naming it spirituality, when in reality, you're just not choosing. You're not powerfully choosing. Thinking that there's time, questioning your ability, being cynical, being jealous. Listen, in this social media world, you get a snapshot of people, and people generally post their successes. When I ended my relationship of 5.5 years, it wasn't the first status that I put out there. I've actually never statused it to this day. Why? It was a status I was living on the floor of my shower every single day, crying out for my own personal healing and growth. Never statused when I lost a business deal. Oh my God, I lost a business deal, tens of thousands of dollars, yay me. Never statused that. Never statused when I gained 3 pounds because I decided to go on an eating binge, drink too much wine, too much coffee, not enough water, not enough movement. Never statused that. You're getting a snapshot of people's successful reality because that's what they want to show you. So when you judge yourself based on people's 30-second success reel, when you judge yourself based on what people are putting on Twitter, 120 characters, when you judge yourself based on what is on people's blogs or where they're flying to or what's happening, I got to tell you, it's not fair to you and it's not fair to them. And you can't invite the greatness for your own personal life into your space. How does this relate to sales? Well, let me tell you. Because sales is all about your ability to invite people into a new possibility that only you can create. But if you haven't mastered creating possibility for yourself, transformation for your own life, then how can you get others to buy into that process with you? Some of you in the Facebook group last night kept saying, well, this is my client, but they won't buy. They don't have money. I'm going to tell you right now, I could go into your industry and clean up tomorrow. Tomorrow. You want to know why? Because I'm believable. And what makes me believable? I'm going to walk you through that process today. I'm going to walk you through what it looks like to change the dynamic and the conversation when you look at what's holding you back. What's holding you back from creating success and a life that's barely unrecognizable? Let's identify this. What's your next best step? Show this fully so they can see it. I like the words in their face. I like the words staring you in your face. When I look at some of the answers that are coming through, Asa says, my ability to see myself as great all the time. Chantel says, wow, that's some transparency. And, Nicole says, who's going to stop me? Nobody. Latera says, my ability to see myself as enough for the call. Ava Laura and Joan says, Ava Laura started acknowledging Joan for the pictures. Joan, thank you for giving us visuals through this. Precious, thinking, can it really happen? And what do I do when it does? Val says, me and my own self-doubt. Tony Robinson says, seeing myself beyond today. Wow. Beyond today. Powerful. Thank you guys for sending that over to me so that I could see that. I love that. So when I look at this, I want to remind you guys that I have so much content that I want to share with you. I have so much content that I want to share, and I'm limited to this short window of time that we have together. But what I know for sure is you're going to walk away with value. Are you not already? Right? So here's the thing. I want to hear what are some of the breakthroughs and ahas that you're already having. I want to see those inside the thread. I want to see those popping up. I love to go back and read those. I want to feel what's happening for you. Listen, every single day, I encourage leaders, be aware of your emotions, and I want you to push through the emotions. So I'm purposely getting you to express your emotions in this moment. It's necessary. Men It's necessary. Women who spend a lot of our time in our masculine energy, can't cry, won't cry, man up, woman up, all that good stuff, we still got to do it. Because guess what? All we do is suppress it. That's all we do. And we look like this on the outside, but we're like this on the inside. All we do is suppress it. So I have so much that I want to share with you. I'm compressing it into a window of time. We've got about 35 more minutes together, so we got a lot we got to walk through. Let's look at who's here with us. Authors, speakers, coaches, network marketers, attorneys, copywriters, interior designers. It's a whole lot of people in this group. Find your next connection. But why do we have everyone from real estate professionals to nutritionists to business consultants to financial services representatives? Why do we have that? Why? The number one reason is because you understand that through whatever breakdown you're having, whether you're in superstardom or struggle or startup for your business, you're leaving unimaginable sums of money on the table. I discovered that there's a second reason why you are on. This is reason number 1B. Stay here. Because you're lacking influence. So you're leaving money on the table, but why are you leaving money on the table? Because you're lacking influence. Influence over self, influence over your thoughts. Go back to that slide. I want it to stay up because it's a big chunky slide. They don't have these. So influence over your thoughts, influence over your past, influence over your present, influence over your future, influence over your reality, influence to, with, and around others. This is what's impacting you. Influence to draw and connect to the right people at the right time, doing the right thing to produce the right results for the life you want, so you can become the man, the woman that you know you were destined, you were born to be. You, my friends, I have come to realize one of the key breakdowns and reasons that you're here is because you're lacking in the mastery of influence. So what I know for sure is that for you to exercise your personal power, to accelerate your growth, and to demand that your income follow behind that, you have to have an influence and a command over life that says, I know where I'm going and I know that I'm worth following. A deadly sin in leadership is to lead and no one is behind you. You will never be influential in sales if you haven't mastered inspiring people to play in your sandbox. So how do we change the conversation? Right now, I want you to begin to affirm. Today I begin a deeper intensity of mastering my influence. I want you putting that right now. I want you putting that on your page. Now, why didn't I say today I start my influence? I didn't say today I start my influence because you're just deepening it. For you to be on, you're already influential. So this is a deepening of the mastery of your influence. Today, I begin, let's look at this. Today, I'm creating what I want and connecting to the right people to keep me there. I want you affirming this. I'm creating what I want and connecting to the right people to get me there. I want you affirming I'm a contribution to my community and my community is a contribution to me. I wrote that mantra. Collectively as a community, you are feeling the power of what it means to rise and to be unapologetic in business. Example for everyone, we love you. Hello, the Christmas season is coming. We don't sell well in the holidays. I don't know what that looks like for you, but some of you are already having negative conversation about your business, and then you wonder why it comes to you because it's the thing that you're saying. Now, I want you to rank yourself using a scale of 1 to 5. On average, how often are you using the negative words internally and the positive words externally? Let me show you an example. I'm doing, externally you say to people, I'm doing great in my business and I love being an entrepreneur. Internally you say, I'm scared as hell and I don't know where my next client is coming from. How many of you do that? You have one conversation on the outside and another conversation on the inside. What I'm going to help you do today is align the tongue in your mouth with the tongue in your shoe. The thing that you say, directly you go. So if you're saying something, it's holiday season, people don't buy, money posting. Today I'm giving a pink slip to What are you giving a pink slip to? I want you to acknowledge, what are you firing? What no longer serves you? What's not working for you? What's happening that's managing you, navigating your success, and instead of being your teacher, it's now your driver. Woo! Man, that's a breakthrough right there. That's a tweet right there. When you think about it, see, fear is supposed to be your teacher. Failure is supposed to be your teacher. But you are not supposed to get out of the seat of your destiny and let it begin to run you. You can't let it run you in your marriage. You can't let it run you in your relationship. You can't let it run you in your finances. Well, I know your bank account looks funny. I know it gets sticky. Happens to the best of us. Doesn't matter. I think about when I made a lot of money. I think about when I made no money. I think about all of that. And every single time I'm still looking for where is more. You're always looking for where is more. So here's the reality. What are you giving way to? First time I went out of the country to the islands, I love that you don't see a yield sign. You see a sign that says give way. What are you giving way to that you no longer need to give way to, and you got to give it a pink slip today? That's what I want to know. See, that's the lesson for you. That's your aha in here. That's your aha in here. That's your aha in here. And that's the aha that will impact your tongue. That's the aha that will impact your feet. That's the aha that will impact your reality. Do you get that? All right, let's do the work. Let's do the work here. So is anyone having, let's see, I think I'm getting a note here. All right, working okay, good. Video's working fine. Like to make sure. Some of you say it's not working, but some of you are good. Good. Let's do the work. Now, to master your language means to master your influence, right? To master your language means to master your influence. So here are some questions that I want to ask you. What does your business stand for? The reason that I want to ask you this, these are critical questions, 6 questions that I ask. And I like to ask these questions of all business leaders, okay? I like to ask them of all business leaders. What does your business stand for? And in 3 words, describe your brand. Some of you are looking for that perfect elevator pitch. How do I say it? How do I make it snappy? How do I make it exciting? How do I get people? Listen, if you don't know what you stand for and you don't know how to make it concise and compelling, nobody's going to be interested. This is how you do the foreground of your work. If you're looking for an elevation in sales, you've got to master your language. You've got to master your influence. This is what I get hired for. This is what people trust me for. This is where I really build value, credibility inside of organizations and with individuals. What are your key services and who are they for? I want you to list that, whether it's the individual, the business owner, the business leader, if it's teams. And what value will your services provide? And I want you to speak in results versus processes. So I want you to speak in results versus processes. What value will your services provide? Then I want you answering the question, what do you want other people to think and say about your company? Think about that. What do you want people saying of you? What is the thing that you want people explosive and excited about? And what is your mantra and what is your tagline? Let me tie this together for you, for some of you that go, wow, great questions, Allyson. How do I make it work? Well, think about this. For profitability, acceleration in revenue, mastery of influence. If I were using my business as an example, in 3 words, how would you describe your brand? Power, money, revenue. Let's just say those are the 3 I pulled up. What are the key services? Coaching, consulting services, done for you selling. What value will your services provide? We support entrepreneurs to be highly profitable in a compressed window of time, to take that model and make it rinse and repeat, which means they get to do it over and over again, having predictable revenue, being able to forecast where their money is coming from, who it's coming from, when it's coming, how it's coming, and know damn near the paycheck every single time. What do you want other people saying of your company? I want people saying of my company that we have integrity, that we have great follow through, we have great energy and power, that we deliver results. I want people saying of my company that we risk, we're innovative, we're fresh, we do things that have never been done before, and we create results that have never been seen. What's our mantra? What's our tagline? Well, we have a couple. Whether we're talking about being unapologetic as far as the way people think and act and react, whether we're talking about money and we talk about a money movement, we have several different ones. But how could I use this mastery of language for my master of influence? Well, if I'm at a networking group and people say, hey, what do you do? I will say, well, my business creates results for entrepreneurs so that we can create great revenue in a short window of time. What do you mean? How do you make that happen? Absolutely. I want to say something that inspires you to ask me a question. What do you do? How do you make it happen? Now I go to the value and the types of services that I provide. Well, we have business consulting opportunities, and we also have done for you, which means we come in and we actually become your on-site, on-demand sales team. We create the results. We're in the grind step by step. Oh my God, that sounds so interesting. Well, yeah, here's what clients are saying about us. Not only do people think that we're interesting, Joan, but they know that we create results. They know that we're innovative and we're fresh. We do things that have never been done before. You see how I'm pulling from every single one of these pockets. I'm mastering my language to master my influence. See, I don't let the conversation be driven by them, but I navigate the conversation so that we go exactly where I want it to go. So I can discover, how can I serve them? Who do they know that I could serve? How can we make a difference together? Maybe we're power partners. Maybe I don't need a check from them. Maybe I need alignment with them. I don't know. But if I'm not mastered at who I am, who I be, what I offer, the contribution I make, the value I have, the key services, what I want people saying of me, then I can't navigate the conversation to go where I think it should go. Make sense? Woosah. Are you guys having breakthrough? Let me check into the Facebook community right now. Let's go full screen on that. Let's see. Here we go. Let's check in on the Facebook community. I want to see what you guys are saying. Audria says, branding that does the selling, less talking, more sales. Asa says, my 3 words are genius, badass, and possibilities. So Asa, here's the challenge with those words. I can't find a result. So I need a result. So I like those being your internal words of what you think about yourself, but I want 3 words that describe your brand that create results and that are about others. I want you guys right now sharing your biggest takeaway in the group of this moment. So post right now, share on your personal Facebook page. I'm having a great takeaway right now with my Money Movers community, and share what that is. Let's see. Toya says, today I'm giving a pink slip to fear of success. She said, it sounds crazy. I'm walking into my value, my worth. Darren says, my 3 words are fearless, conscious, and wholehearted. What's the result that you create, Darren, so that we can know? Master who you be. Oh, Cosette's telling me to preach it. I'm preaching it, girl. Let's see. Nikki says, I master my language so that I can master my influence. I want to see you guys posting. Post twice. Post in the group. Post in your community. Get your community wondering, what are they up for? What's going on over there? What's she doing? Tanika, Cosette, Mathina, Sarita, I want people asking what you're doing and what you're up for. Marla, I want you double posting. Sandy, get you guys in there. I want people wondering, what kind of change is she making over there? What kind of change is he making over there? Make sure we use the hashtag Money Mover, because you're co-producers with me inside of this movement. Yes and yes. Chiesda says, I stand for freedom. I stand for legacy. I stand for joy. Carmen says, today I'm giving a pink slip to what me and Allison's Nana would say. Oh, my grandmother would say, pull mouth. That's right. No more poor mouth. Asa says, scarcity, sadness, frustration, procrastination, fear are fired. Marla, y'all caught me catching a drink of water right there. I didn't do that fast enough, huh? Let's see. Marla says, what key services and who are they for? Thanks for reposting that question. Joan says, master your influence. Calvin, today I'm giving a pink slip to putting my now off. Let's see. I have let's see, who has questions? If you guys have questions that you want to ask right now, you can actually post those, or you can direct message your question straight to Jennifer. Anyone on the team, if you want to direct message to Mathina, you can direct message to Jennifer. You can direct message to Mathina. Let's see. And so here's the question that I have for you guys. In all of this that you're writing, in all of this that you're putting, right? In all of this that we're putting in the thread, my iPad is full. My iPad's full here. This is what you say you want, right? This is what you say you want. Chantel, Tanya, Adria, my question for you is, do you expect more? Like, this whole concept and conversation of expect more is for a reason. My question of you, Chantel and Calvin and Don, do you expect more, and are you ready for more? See, I have a question for you, Yakanea. Do you expect more? Vicky, Ebony, do you expect more? I get you're putting all your details here. Darren, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready for more? Are you ready for me? Are you ready for this moment? Are you ready? Like, we got so much we get to co-create and co-design. And how many times, I'm looking here, Cosette, Lauren, Dakisha, how many times will you come to a forum like this and be inspired and yet not powerfully choose something different? How many times? I'm asking you because someone may never have asked you. I'm looking. I'm asking the question, Don. I'm asking the question. I see you Pruitt twins in there. Are you ready? Are you ready for more? Are you ready? Are you ready to do the work? Are you ready to roll up your sleeves? Are you ready, or are you more committed to being on the sideline? Let me pick up this nugget of success and see what I can do with this chicken nugget. See, remember when I told Latasha, I brought her an entire rotisserie chicken. Some of you are settling for the chicken parts. Some of you are settling for the pieces and the elements of success. Who's ready? That's what I want to know. It's not rude to answer when someone asks you a question. You can answer me inside the group. I want to know if you're ready. I want to know how you know you're ready. I want to know how you create change and difference as a result of being ready. That's what I'm asking. Are you ready? Are you ready now? That's what I'm asking you guys. See, profitability is attracted to clarity. So the question is, not only are you ready, the question is, what are you ready for? Are you ready? And what are you ready for? That's what we're asking. Profitability is attracted to clarity. When you partner the tools from part 1 of this training on discovering your revenue equalizer, speaking to your ideal client with the perfect price point, plus a product they're hungry for. When you partner that with the ability to activate your own power of influence, to set intention for results you want to create with and for others, when you're able to translate that into intention through your well-crafted message where you show versus tell the results you know that you can create, well, then your readiness shows, because you grow your income and you become nearly unstoppable. Nearly unstoppable. Are you ready is the question. Are you ready? And if you're ready, what, my friend, are you ready for? What are you ready to change, to transform, to grow, to become, to manifest, to make real? What are you ready for? And how many times does someone have to ask you? How many times do you have to keep borrowing before you create your own reservoir of faith, your own reservoir of power, your own reservoir of truth? Are you ready? And what are you ready for? Is it your time to rise? And what's calling you and causing you and demanding that you rise? Are you going to own it? And what is the it that you're committed to own? See, when I talk to people about sales, I can't make you a superstar, powerhouse, masterful salesperson standing on the stage, building a profitable platform if you don't know who you are, why you are, and what you got to offer. I said it to you yesterday. Had a client tell me, well, Allyson, what should I sell? Don't sell a damn thing. Sit down, look in the mirror, and know who you are, and tell me you're ready. And when you can tell me you're ready, then you can tell me what services you provide, the value and contribution, the difference you make. For those of you that are already busting through that 6-figure, why are you comfortable pushing toward that 7-figure mark? Listen, where my clients get settled is around that 750,000. They start to get a little slow. They get real comfortable. And I say, I thought you said you wanted to bust through the 7-figure. Well, I did, but it's a lot of work. Are you ready? Well, I thought I wanted to add this revenue stream, but man, I'm missing time. Did you prepare? Did you plan with your family? Did you set yourself up for success? Are you ready? You know you're ready when you're strategic. You know you're ready when the tongue in your mouth sets course with the tongue in your shoe, and you move in alignment with the strategy and the plan, and you make decisions and you make choices and you expand your community based on your readiness. Are you ready? I want to hear your breakthroughs right now. I want to hear your breakthroughs. Post now. What are your breakthroughs? Use the hashtag Money Mover. You know I love to hear where your breakthroughs are. Let me tell you how you could be listing some of these breakthroughs. We can play the SSC game. Start, stop, continue. You choose. Now I know that as a result, I need to start what, I need to stop what, and I need to continue what. What do you need to do based on what you've learned? Use the hashtag Money Mover. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. So I want to hear, what should you start? What should you stop? What should you continue? You don't have to do all. You don't have to do all, you guys, but do one. I want to hear. I want to hear you choose. I want to see inside the Facebook community. Now I know I need to start. I need to start expanding my community today based on what I've learned. Now I know I need to stop thinking I can learn everything for free. Now I know bigger than a book. I need a coach by my side. Now I know I need to continue building the systems, the processes, the plan that I've been working on. Now I know my strategy is good. Now I know what is the thing you want to start. What is the thing you want to stop? What is the thing you need to continue? You guys can choose. I want to see. I'm going to hop over to the Facebook community and see what you guys are saying right now over in the elusive, exclusive Facebook community for Money Movers. What? Let me refresh this screen. I want to hear from you. LaTanya says, I expect so much more. Darren says, I'm ready to empower men to take the lead in their lives and lead with excellence, lead with confidence, wisdom, and a sense of purpose. Ebony says, I am ready now for greater profitability. I hope that means we get to play together, Ebony. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Famira says, just now, I am ready. I want more. I know more is my destiny, and it's not on the way. It is here now. I'm so grateful we get to do our session together. Maria says, just now, I am ready for more revenue, larger positive impact to my community, spreading the movement with my sisters, empowering others. I am a money mover. Woo! You guys are deep up in here. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's see. Marilyn says, you know you are ready when you are strategic. Monique says, I take women from talking about ideas to celebrating ideas. Let's see. Cosette says, yeah, it's a lot of work, but I'm strategically positioning myself to grow. Welcome to Money Mover 20, Cosette. Excited to have you. Let's see. Oh, how do I say your beautiful name? Is it Alu Wazjan? I don't know if I can say it. Okay. She says, I don't know if I'm saying your name correctly, but it's spelled beautifully. And so she says, the 3 words to describe my brand are breakthrough, love, and freedom. Missy says, now I know why my profitability and my clarity was incongruent. Woo! What a breakthrough. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I want to share something with you all. When you look at what you should start, what you should stop, and what you should continue, it's one of the best things you can do with your team. If you're a solopreneur, if you're a freelancer, one of the best things that you can do to evaluate what are we doing well, what's not working, what was working, what should we start as a result of this breakdown, what should we stop, what should we continue. Makes me think of one of my amazing clients. I got to tell you guys about my money mover client, Daniel. Daniel owns a company here, MVP Performance, and Daniel said to me, I'm ready. Allyson, I'm ready for more. Daniel said, we need an infusion of cash, and he asked me to come train his group. And here's what I loved about it. Here's what I absolutely loved about it, is I went to train his staff, worked with Daniel one-on-one as the CEO, and in less than 90 days in a brand new revenue stream, he grew by an additional $25,000 in an entirely new profit center. Daniel said, I'm ready. Nicole said, I'm ready. Nicole is a money-making brand strategist. She came to me successful, wanting to create greater levels of success. And she says, I knew I had to hire Allyson as my sales coach because I wanted to triple my revenue in 2014. I lasered my program offerings and created $17,000 in new revenue. Nicole said, I'm ready. I think about when I began working in this business, and Lisa came to me, and I had met Lisa at an event in Chicago, and we were so in tune from the very first time that we met. And Lisa said to me, have you ever worked with a coach? And I said, yeah, I've had one coach. And she said, well, do you feel ready to work with me? And I said, no. And Lisa said, why not? And I said, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't feel ready. I don't know. I literally didn't have an answer. She said, well, are you ready for greater levels of success? I said, yeah. She said, do you know what that success looks like? And I knew I had some borrowed numbers in my head. I knew I'd seen some people that had made $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month. So I said, yeah, I think I want to make about $25,000 a month. She said, okay, how are you going to do that? I said, not really sure. And she said, do you think you need support? I said, I don't know. She said, have you done it before? I said, no. She said, well, how do you know you're ready? How do you know you can do it? She said, I can help you. I'll never forget it. We were sitting on a little bitty couch, felt like she was this close in my face. She said, how do you know you're ready? I can help you. What's stopping you, Allyson? And I said, I don't know. She said, do you trust me? And I said, I trust you. And she said, do you trust me? And I said, I trust you. And she asked me again, do you trust me? And I looked at her and I said, I don't trust you. And she said, why don't you trust me? And I said, I'm scared. I don't know how you can help me. I don't know you. See, I didn't know Lisa's celebrity. I didn't have that story. She literally dropped into my lap. I had no idea. I hadn't read The Secret. I hadn't studied her. I didn't have that history. All I had was my own wounds and my own fears, and my own pain was managing me. And so when she said, do you trust me? I was looking at her wanting to say yes, because when someone asks you, that's what you say. Just like when people say, I love you, you go, I love you too. Until you date that one guy who says, I like you. Am I the only one that's ever had that happen to me? It's happened. So when she said, do you trust me? I instinctively said yes, but she could feel it wasn't my reality. And what I knew in that moment was she's going to call me higher, but I was so uncomfortable. I didn't know what to do with the discomfort. See, some of you, as you're listening to me right now, You don't even know what to do with this discomfort, and you're saying you're ready, and you're saying it just like when someone says, I love you, you say, I love you too. And you don't really know if you love that person. You just know it's an auto response. I'm not tapping into the Infusionsoft version of you, the MailChimp version of you. I'm tapping into the real heart of you. I'm asking you, just as Lisa asked me that day, are you ready? And what are you ready for? Are you willing to release, Allyson, a familiar discomfort, to embrace an unfamiliar possibility that's going to look and feel so much better than what you know today? Are you ready for a breathtaking future that you could not imagine? She said to me in that moment, give me 5 years and I will take you there. And I looked at her, and my lip began to quiver and tears rolled down my face. You guys already know I'm a crier. I'm already crying in this moment, thinking about it, remembering that. And I said, I don't know if I can trust you because too many people have promised big things to me and said big, glorious, grand, exciting things. And too many people have said, dream with me. And then it didn't happen. And so here you are saying to me, it's possible. And here you are asking me, am I ready? And here you are making me own it. And here you are telling me you'll help me. And that just feels too good to be true. That was what I felt in that moment, and that's what I said. And we sat there, and she looked at me, and she said, I understand. And I said, does that mean you're not going to help me? Because I don't trust you. She said, that means I'll teach you to trust me. And that means I'll help you begin to restore faith and bring the right relationships around you so that you don't have to experience that hurt again. And what she said to me then, I'm going to say to you now. She said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry they hurt you. And I'm sorry they lied. I'm sorry you dreamed and you didn't know how to make that dream a reality. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you hoped, and I'm sorry that your heart was full and your dream bubble got burst and your reality didn't change. I'm sorry. She said, I'm sorry your dad left you at 4, and I'm sorry your mom had to work 3 jobs, and I'm sorry you were left alone at home. She knew my story. She said, I'm sorry. She said, but what I know, Allyson, is we can begin to change your reality today. And I said, don't say it if it can't happen. I've never shared this publicly, this intensity of that conversation that we had. And why am I sharing it in this moment? Because I got a lot of slides and a lot of data and a lot of information. And I want you guys to know that all of that comes out of that journey. And it wasn't that long ago Lisa and I had that conversation. That was less than 7 years ago. We had that conversation, less than 6. And look at the acceleration that came in my vulnerability and my risk. It was a risk to trust her. See, just because she was a celebrity didn't mean she was going to be good on her word. I had to trust her heart. I remember that moment like it was yesterday. And the greater thing than trusting Lisa was trusting myself. Will you do it, Allyson? When she tells you, will you do it? Or will you fall short? Will you lose yourself again? Will you get caught up again? Will you get distracted again? Come on, some of you feel me on this. And there's a reason I'm slowing down to share this with you. It is not in the script, not on my PowerPoint. I ain't got no paper. It's just what's real. And I can feel it as I read and you say, I'm ready, I'm ready, and I'm ready, and I'm ready. And I feel that you really want to be ready and you really want to trust yourself and you really want to trust the process. You really want to, and you're scared. And that's okay. Will you rise in spite of? And are you ready? And what are you ready for? And how can I support you? When I think about Sabrina Fulton is the leader of the Trayvon Martin Foundation. And for those of you who remember, Trayvon died a tragic gun violent death, and his story rocked the world and brought attention to gun violence like never before. And when I talked to Sabrina, she said, you know, Allyson, I was just a government worker and I was thrust into the spotlight. I've been pushing papers and then I lose my son and now I'm a spokesperson to the world. Like, I don't know how to do this, but I got a vision and I got a dream and I'm ready. And I said, I'll help you. And we built her sponsorship program. We brought in a sales team. We created incredible growth. This summer, we launched the first one ever. Next year will be the second annual one. When I think about it, she said, I'm ready. When I think about Sandra Steen, when I think about Sandra Yancey, I'm thinking about my mentor, Sandra Steen. When I think about Sandra Yancey, Sandra came. Sandra, some of you know her as the founder of eWomen Network. Amazing organization, larger than National Association of Women Business Owners. It's huge, bigger than NABO, bigger, great. Thousands and thousands of people. And Sandra said, listen, I want to do something different. I want to create new revenue streams. I want you on my team, Allyson. I want you to support me. So Sandra brought me in. And here's a look at our team. What we are doing and have done for her has been absolutely incredible. Through that, we were able to do a done-for-you solution. And guess what we were able to do when she said, I'm ready. And let me tell you guys, knees knocking, teeth chattering, she still said, I'm ready. As big as she plays in the world, scaling her company up right now to $20 million. As big as she is, she raised her hand and said, will you support? And I said, are you ready? And she said, yes. And I said, what are you ready for? And when we named it, in that short window of time, we did an amazing 6-figure launch and have so many great things that we get to continue to create together. When I think about my mentor, my sister friend, who has been my partner, my boss, my client, so many things. Our relationship grew from the story that I just shared with you, and we began to work together. And I grew, helped to support radical growth to bring 1,081% in increase in less than a year because she was ready. So my question to you is, what is your next step? We've said we're ready. And now I'm going to just put a demand on that. Today's training was informational. And, you know, we blended. Some of you realized that you needed the information, but now you need implementation. Some of you need more. You're like Lisa, like Sandra, like Sabrina with the Trayvon Martin Foundation, like Nicole and Daniel, where you have some of those elements of the puzzle, but you're missing the pieces that are keeping you stuck where you don't want to be. First-time entrepreneurs have high failure rate. But we can change that because winning in business is a skill and we all need the support. The reality is that success breeds success and that you need the right coach, the right community to build the bridge from where you are to where you want to be. You can learn to create meaningful dialogue, convert conversations into cash. What you need here is a combination of skill set, a mastery of your influence, a strategic process for implementation. That's what you need. You need the combination. You got to build brick by brick, layer by layer, gear by gear. Yes and yes, that's what you need. So the reason that we opened up and the reason that I created Money Movers 20 is just for you. It's just for you. My opportunity to work with you one-on-one. Why did I do work with Lisa? Why did we grow exponentially 1,081%? Why did Sandra Yancey bring me on her team? Nicole Lundy, Daniel Alderetti. Why did they engage me? And what is it that you need next? And how can we do it for you? Val's example was critical. She thought, oh, I think I left a big amount of money on the table at $76,000. But here's the thing. When we did the math, she left a potential $211,000 on the table. And when we let go of all the Cadillacs and the Louboutins, we looked at the fact she could have impacted college education, homes. She could have made a difference in feeding people that are hungry on the soil that we're on, or whatever country. We've got so many countries that are here, that are representing, that are on. Hi, Russia. You guys messaged me last night. Thank you so much. Hi, Australia. So glad. I couldn't believe you guys were awake. You were on. You were engaged. Thank you. Some of you will catch the replay of this. You got to make a difference in your lane. Why did we open Money Mover 20? Because you need that one-on-one support, and I decided to give it to you. I have, for the last several years, not been available for under $25,000 a year. I created a program for you that gives you 3 hours working one-on-one with me, 6 group coaching hours in the Money Mover Masterclass with my master coaches. I called up Grant Cardone's group. Love Grant. You guys know he's a key mentor for me. Absolutely love him. Shout out to Natasha while Grant was in the grind. So excited that you're getting Grant to sign those. Grant will be in Mexico next week. I was just with Grant in Mexico. Man, it must have been just a couple of months ago in the summer. It was incredible. And I asked him to hand sign those books because when I read 10X, I read it and then I listened to it in my ear every single day, until I could almost recite everything that Grant was saying. And now I want to give it to you. So you're going to receive an autographed copy from me and from him directly to you. Then you're going to get my digital library. I listen to Norman Vincent Peale. I listen to James Allen. I listen to Simon Bailey. Everyone from the 1900s to present day 2014, you're going to get access to what changes my thinking. Listen, the human brain has 60,000 thoughts in a day. Over 40,000 of them are negative. We got to push through our stinking thinking. You're pushing through it right now. Oh my God, Allison's doing this offer. Do I do it? Do I not do it? Listen, I can't convince you, but I can be a stand for you. I can't persuade you, but I can come say, I came to get you. I can do for you as Lisa did for me and say, it's okay that you have a trust issue. It's okay that you're afraid. It's okay that you got 10 ounces of courage and 90 ounces of fear and failure and a mixture of worry and angst and all of that, because we can work and we can navigate through that, because we're going gear by gear, transition by transition to create your success. Here's who your teachers are. I love this. You're going to learn from Grant Cardone, 10X Rule. You're going to get that book. I love it. Kim Yancey, who co-founded eWomen Network, and he is now the CEO of Live Happy. Incredible marketer. What he does to create millions of dollars, he's going to teach you. So I'm excited because you've got multimillionaires that are coming on board, showing you what they've done, giving you, and guess what? We're opening up for laser coaching. So in those sessions, you're actually going to be able to be coached by them in the moment. Tiffany Peterson, she's a brilliant sales mind, brilliant money mindset coach as well. I love Tiffany. She's a great sister friend to me. She's agreed to come teach you. Trevor Otts, I live on the phone with Trevor every single week. What do I do next in my business? How do we do this? He is the implementation behind so much of what we do. He's going to be one of your master coaches, and I'm excited that he gets to be there. For those of you who have never been to brokesystems.com, go there and you'll learn more about Trevor. He's going to teach you and laser coach you in the group. Doreen Rainey, founder of Get Radical Success Institute. She just, listen to this, you all. She was just acquired by Steve Harvey's group. She is now vice president for Steve Harvey World Group. and Steve Harvey acquired the Radical Success Institute. She's going to talk to you about how she leveraged the power of that relationship, navigated herself into a power position, and how you can do it too. She's going to teach you that in Laser Coach. Simon Bailey, you've heard me talk about him. What he did in a transition from going from Walt Disney to then founding the Brilliance Institute and now training all over the globe. He spends more time out of the country, touching, moving, and inspiring out of the U.S. than he does on U.S. soil. He's going to teach you about what it means to expand international, to grow beyond the four walls of who you be. And I'm going to be one of your master coaches, of course. I can't wait to play. Stedman Graham, you're going to have access to his training. Leadership, let me tell you, Stedman is amazing. And I count it a true joy that we've been connected and that God saw fit to bring us together and that he influences my life and my business, and now he gets to influence you. If you want to know how it works, Jennifer Shealy is your program concierge. Your customized 3-hour intensive is scheduled privately. The masterclass begins December 18th. Your sessions are all listed there so that you can look at the dates. And if you miss one, you can catch the recording. That's how it works. You'll know this is for you if you want to find your now money now and grow your income with consistent cash flow and laser focus on the ideal client. You'll know this is for you if you want a step-by-step solution. You'll know this is for you if right now in this moment you say, Allyson, I haven't been measuring my results. I've been dealing with business on emotion. I've been dealing with business as a hobby. I've been dealing with business and making it hard. I need to do something different, and I need the roadmap in order to create it. That's how you'll know it's for you. If you want to master your language from a core message standpoint, and then you want to monetize it, building a profitable platform, you want to build your selling scripts, your dialogue, your engagement, you want to be authentic in your expression of that. You want to have a sponsorship or a robust corporate selling plan. Maybe you need to develop a product and have the right price point for a program or a service that the market actually wants and will buy. Then you'll know that this is right for you. Here's what I know. The number one reason you guys are on is because you know you're leaving money on the table. You're clear on that. The next reason is because you need to master your influence. If you want to be effective in the world, you want to change what you're up for. You want to give a distinction from where you are today. And you say, a year from now, Allyson, I can't be here. When you say, I look at myself 5 years out, I got to do something different. When you say, I got to find it, I can't even define it right now, but I know I've got to get there, then you know this is for you. If your palms are sweating, if your heart is racing, all that'll go away. Choose, and choose with power. It's very simple. I love when I ask my niece, I say, well, do you want chocolate and vanilla? And she goes, and she thinks, and I go, chocolate or vanilla, choose. That's where we are today. Do something different to get something different. Limited spaces. Listen, I made it very easy for you guys. This Money Mover 20, limited to 20 enrollments. We've already, I don't even know the numbers that we have from yesterday, so I definitely need to talk to Jennifer about that, but I guarantee you what we will do is we will sell out. That much I'm clear on. So 20 spaces. The program value is at $37.95, but here's your pricing, $17.97. And if you don't want to pay it all at once, you can save your space for $450, and then you have 4 additional payments at $450. We make it so easy for you. It's open right now at dominate15.com. It's open for you right now. I want to work with you. I want to support you. I came for you. I miss Scandal for you. Right now, I'm missing How to Get Away with Murder for you. Listen, people, you got to know it's a big deal happening here. But more than anything, and all jokes aside, your vision matters, and people are waiting on you. Val was such a great example. Beth was such a great example. Darren was such a great example. Tanika stepped out and enrolled. She says, I'm still peeing. But I had to enroll to do the work, to become the woman that I know I'm destined and designed to be. Are you ready? And what are you ready for? The next program that we have available for you is Money Mover Pro. So if you say, look, I love the group idea, but Allyson, I really want to be with you one-on-one, we let you do that. Program value is $2,500. Your event pricing is $997. I haven't had pricing like this in so long. Why? Why do I have it now? Because I know what it was like to need that price to get to my next level. And I'm really, really so excited that I get to create it for you. You can save your space for $325, or you can do 3 additional payments, or you could just do the one payment at $997. Here's the thing. You said you were ready, but are you really, really, really ready? See, one of the biggest things that holds entrepreneurs back is trust. So you've got to trust me. You've got to trust yourself. You've got to trust your destiny. Some of you are enrolling. Some of you are not. Those of you that aren't enrolling, type in the group right now. I trust myself. I trust my destiny. Because I want you to declare that, and then I want you to chocolate vanilla choose. Chocolate vanilla choose. The Money Mover Pro, your program includes a 3-hour individualized coaching intensive with me. You receive your pre-work. We determine your coaching focus, your objectives. Your criterion for success is co-created by you and me. Jennifer is your program concierge. She customizes and sets up that for you. You can choose dates from now to January 31st, and that's open for you. There are only 2 offers there at dominate15.com. Because I want you going into 2015, owning your power, trusting yourself, trusting your destiny. I want you going into 2015 rising like you never have before. I want you to go into 2015 risen. When I look at my notes here, I think about what it meant for me to take action. And when you say you're ready, ready is a big action word. And I know what it felt like. The first check that I ever wrote to do work with Lisa Nichols was a $325 workshop, no matter what. And I wrote it like this. Because I wasn't used to investing in myself that way. But I said I was ready. And then I said I was ready on the next program. And then I said I was ready on the next program. And then I went on to graduate from her Global Leadership Program, which is a $45,000 investment. You want to talk about being ready? That was a big deal. Some of you got to put on your big girl panties, and some of you got to put on your big boy pants. This is the big leagues. This is the big dance. And you came for a reason. And you came to have someone that was not 1 step, not 2 steps, but 10 steps, 15 steps, 20 steps ahead of you that could say, I've navigated those waters. I know like I know how to get you to the success that you deserve. What I know for sure, here's what I know for sure, is that sales and success in sales is never an accident. It's a result of intentional planning, clear focused mind, and the willingness to overcome the number one objector, which is you. And sales is about finding a level of performance within you that you never knew you had. So do you trust? Do you trust yourself bigger than you trust me? Because I know I'm coming with my A game. I'm clear. I'm clear. I love what Oprah said. She said it when I was just at the Life You Want tour. She's been saying it on OWN. She's been saying it on her radio show. She's been saying, take your glory and run. What I hear when I hear that is, trust yourself. Trust your vision. Trust you. Trust your destiny. Trust your future. Trust that your past doesn't dictate what's next, and trust that even though your circumstances don't show everything that you wanted, it's not the end of the story. I want you in my Money Mover 20 because I want you learning with the group. I want my mentors able to pour into you, big difference makers. It's the first time in 3 years that I've made something priced at that point, and I did it strategically because I knew who I was coming for. I don't care if your business is superstardom. I don't need you to pay me more money just because you earn more money. We paying for results here. That's what we're about. I want you in Money Mover Pro because you need that one-on-one intensive. We've got an opportunity to play big here. I'm really excited about, when we look at what 2015 will look like. We're only 55 days away. I mean, can you guys believe that? We are only 55 days away from the new year. And so my question is, will you trust and will you trust yourself, right? That's my question for you. Some of you, I see my Facebook is already blowing up. You're saying, that's it. I haven't been trusting myself, I know. And here's the thing that I want to say. What are you going to do now? I get that you get the revelation, but some of us stop at the awakening. And where we've really got to go is beyond the awakening into our new action. Here's the thing that I want you to say. Do you trust yourself? Do you trust what's next? What's up for us? What can we do to do something that we've never done before? Here's what I guarantee you guys. Here's what I guarantee without a doubt. Show me so that they can see me because I want to look at them. I'm looking at the iPad here. I want to look at them. What I guarantee is that we'll do our 3-hour session together. You'll have a plan. You'll have a strategy. You'll know what your next steps are. What I guarantee is that my mentors are going to pour into you, and they're going to give you all that they have. What I guarantee is that you're going to create the results you've been looking for quicker, sooner, faster. And here's what I know. You can eat the whole meal. And if you say, Allyson, it wasn't what I wanted, here's the integrity contract I have. I have no issue saying, here's your money back. If it didn't work for you, here's your money back. I have no issue saying that. And why don't I have issue saying that? In 8 years of my coaching business, not once have I had to do that. 8 years, not once has a client said to me, I want something, done the work, and didn't get the results that they were looking for. Not once. I'm willing to guarantee. I'm willing to stand in that with you. So if that's what you need, and if that's what feels better for you, let's talk about it. Here's what I want to say. It's your opportunity in this moment to take action, to trust yourself. And I want to give you a guarantee so you can have even greater trust. This is your moment. This is your opportunity in which to rise. I'm looking at all of your messages here. When it looks like, what does it look like to dominate 2015? It means to take demand. It means to take control. It means to step out. It means to be without apology. How do you begin that? Taking action today. Here's the last thing I want to say to you. One of the things we do in our business is we give. And I have always believed in the principle and the core principle of giving out of what we earn. We give a great percentage to charitable contributions. And there's a group out of Oklahoma City called the Wonderfully Made Foundation. And I got connected to this group through April Franks Hunt. And the founder died just a couple of weeks ago, Lisa. And I didn't know Lisa personally, but I love what she's up for. And what they're doing is carrying forward Lisa's amazing vision. And our company, as a result of everything that you guys, all of you that enroll, we're giving a percentage of those proceeds to the Wonderfully Made Foundation. Why? Because when you do good, you live well. But guess what you got to do first? You got to do good. So we're so committed to Lisa and to her legacy. The Wonderfully Made Foundation will get a contribution from us. And I'm so honored to be able to tell you that just by you investing in yourself, you're going to invest in this group. Why am I telling you the name of the organization? Because I want you to know the types of things that we align with and that we do. That this is not just talk, this is the reality in which I live. I'm so excited that you have chosen to play with me, to allow me to be your coach. When it looks like what it means to dominate, I want everybody right now to go into the group, and I want you to type www.dominate15.com. It's not about you enrolling right now. It's about you making a command on the year before the year even comes. For those of you that have chosen, and we are going to be together, I'm excited. We got great things to do. We got great things to create. You know what I always say, roll up your sleeves, bring your bottled water, because it certainly gets spicy. Here are the 3 final questions that we're going to go over. Final questions. You guys ready for this? Are you ready to fulfill your potential at a greater level? Are you approaching sales as a duty or as an opportunity? And would greater success in your life be a bad thing, or would it actually open something up for you? That's what I'm asking you right now. Here's the reality check. If you don't have the success you desire in your business, the clarity that you need is that clients aren't missing from your business, you are. So I want you to affirm in Facebook right now, what are you committed to for dominating 2015? Because clients aren't missing, you're missing. If you're there, clients will show up to meet you. What are you committed to dominate in 2015? It's your time. We've spent 2 sessions together. I've shared my heart, you've shared yours. You've met people you had no idea you would ever connect with. You feel like you intimately know them just from these sessions. You're all over the globe, and we're connected by a common thread, a common heartbeat, a commitment to make a difference, to take courageous action, to trust ourselves as we've never trusted before, and by trusting ourselves, we can trust others. You've invited me into your space in this moment as your mentor, as your leader, as your coach, as your facilitator, and I honor that. I want to share with you that if you're looking at, does Money Mover 20 work for me? I'm going to answer those questions. I'm going to stick around after this presentation. If you're watching the replay, you can email me directly, Allyson@AllysonByrd.com. But for those of you that are actually watching live, I'm going to be in the Facebook group, so you can direct message me. We also have a text phone number. If you have questions and you want an answer now, we are going to sell out of these spaces. So if you want an answer right now, you can text 210-818-2098. Jennifer's putting that up in the group, 210-818-2098. When you text that number, you don't have to text a code or text anything. Text your question. Hey, Allyson, I got a question. I want to know, will this work for me because of this? Should I do Money Mover 20? Should I do Money Mover Pro? Here's what's up for me. Here's what's next. For the next hour, I'm going to be in the Facebook group. I'm going to be on chat. I'm going to be on the text, 210-818-2098. I'm going to answer your questions. Why? Because someone had to stand for me. See, Lisa didn't have to have that conversation, but she did. Simon didn't have to encourage me the way that he did, but he did. George Frazier didn't have to take me under his wing, but he did. Susan Taylor didn't have to mentor me the way that she did, but she did. She didn't have to introduce me and send me to the Oprah office because I said, I want to be in Oprah's space and tour and figure it out and know. And she said, give me a second. And she sent an email. And 2 weeks later, I was on a flight. I went to Chicago. I pulled up to Harpo offices, and I thought, whew. But how many of you know that wasn't about me trusting Susan? That was about me trusting myself.